Texas.
I thank the chairman, and I would like to discuss a matter that we have discussed a lot since 2009, and that is the folks, the good folks in first Camp Ashraf and then Camp Liberty, who have been, while they have been in these camps, bad things have happened to them. The more we meet, every time we meet, it seems that there have been more assaults, more murders, more rocket attacks against these folks who have lived in these two areas. Many of them are here today. Their families are in Camp Liberty, and some of their families have been killed since 2009, and I admire their perseverance. But there are about 2,000 members of the Iranian opposition movement, MEK. Once again, they are unarmed, and they live in Camp Liberty, Iraq. They live there because they've been forced out of Iran, a country that tolerates no political opposition. And if they were to be returned to Iran, they would be killed. The mullahs in Iran fear and hate the MEK. The MEK basically just wants freedom in Iran, free elections. But turns out that the long arms of the mullahs in Tehran reach out to Iraq, where these folks have been for a long time. Last October, residents came under intense rocket attacks in Iraq. 24 people were killed, dozens of others were injured, and the IRGC claimed the assault and warned that more would follow. These kinds of attacks, there's been 7, if I can remember correctly, on the people in the MEK that live in Iraq, have claimed the lives of 140 people. Not one person has been held accountable for these murders. Not one person has been arrested or gone to jail for these murders that occurred in these camps. 1,300 others have been injured, and 7 have been kidnapped. The residents live in constant fear of another attack. Their only crime is opposing the tyrants in Iran. Res 650 condemns these attacks. I want to thank the ranking member for his amendment that makes this resolution even better. But the resolution condemns the attacks and urges the Iraqi government to bring those responsible to justice. Those in the Iraqi government who claim links to the IRGC should not be put in charge of the camp. Several years ago, Chairman Rohrabacher and myself went to Iraq, and we wanted to see Camp Ashraf. And the government of Iraq was so irate that we wanted to visit what was happening in the camp before they were moved to Liberty, that Chairman Rohrabacher and myself were told to leave Iraq. We were evicted, kicked out of the country. That's how much support the Iraqi government gives to the mullahs in Iran about the camps. Of course, we didn't leave. We stayed anyway and did what we wanted to do. But it shows you the government of Iraq's position on that, because we merely wanted to see for ourselves the living conditions of these, I think, very patriotic people. So Iraq's not a safe place for those residents. They should be resettled to a third country. As Iran's influence continues to grow in the region, we must show our strong support for these dissidents. They want freedom to pursue. They want freedom for their fellow countrymen, but for the last 30 years, that pursuit has cost them, and they've had to flee the country they love and lose many of their family members. We should do all we can to urge their protection. It's important that the government of Iraq allow the residents to sell the property at Camp Liberty and Camp Ashraf. It is their property. It does not belong to the government of Iraq. And once again, I want to thank Ranking Member Engel for his amendment that makes this clear. As it stands now, the Iraqi government is only allowing their residents to take the clothes that they're wearing on their back. They can't even take their laptop computers. This is their property. It doesn't belong to Iraq. And the folks that leave Camp Liberty and go other places should be allowed to take their personal property, whatever country that they go to. This is only right, and justice demands this. And so I thank the chairman, the ranking member for their support of this legislation, this resolution, and I hope that we don't have to meet again and there are more casualties in Liberty because we have not helped get these good folks resettled to another country. I yield back. Thanks for the remaining time.
Well, thank you for your eloquence on this issue, Mr. Poe, but also thank you for introducing it. We now, are there any other members seeking time? Mr. Shabbat of Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be brief.